It's a new episode of Two Drink Minimum, and yes, today we are using beer. This is real beer. Don't try this at home, kids. Anyhow, it's been about a few weeks since I did the last episode, so there's a fair bit of stuff for catching up on to go over. One thing is obviously with COVID, no Comic-Con this year. However, that being said, there will be an online Comic-Con. They are going to be doing some panels remotely, I think via Zoom or something like that, for some of the upcoming properties, which is kind of weird because everything's kind of up in the air right now, which I'll get to in a second. But with Comic-Con, what I've heard is there's not going to be any Marvel or DC. I don't know about Disney themselves, if they're going to be like showcasing like Soul or any of the other titles they've got coming out ideally later this year. But it's all going to be online. The one panel I have heard is for sure is going to be Bill and Ted Face the Music, which is still tentatively supposed to be coming out next month, but we'll see. Of all the movies that are being delayed, that one is most likely to go straight to digital for pay-per-view, 48-hour rental kind of thing. Obviously torrent sites and all the rest, but I mean, I would have loved to see that. I saw the original two in theaters. Yes, I'm that old. But great movies, really fun. I rewatched the original one the other day, and it still stands up to this day. It kind of sucks though that with the new one, there's no way they can have George Carlin in there. He was great in the original. But either way, they're doing a panel for sure, so it'll probably be Keanu and Alex Winter with, I think. Oh my God, I was watching Fat Man Beyond the other night. Bernardin or Kevin Smith have something to do with one of those panels. So it should be okay. Obviously, everyone's kind of wishing it was the live event as it is every year, but, you know, not with the way the States is going right now. That's for sure. I mean, they're averaging almost as many cases in a day as Canada's got in total overall since it started. Bad news. But yeah, I'm gonna be curious to see what's happening. Sideshow is actually doing a online thing today, culminating around I think 4 p.m. Pacific, with their Hot Toys display. So it's gonna be all the toys that I love to look at but can never afford. So yeah, I mean, I could sit there with a little checklist going, okay, that figure, 1 kidney. That figure, there's my liver. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But, you know, that's a whole different realm of collecting, which hasn't even really been a thing lately because there's not been anything to collect. I think the only figure I got in the last while was the Cara Dune from Mandalorian figure. And obviously Doctor Strange. But Star Wars-wise, it's been bleak out there, guys. Like, wow. I mean, I've been resorting to, like, looking online for stuff, and even then it's kind of out of my price range. Like, I don't know. And then you see all these deals down in the States. Oh yeah, I walked into Walmart and they were like selling off the new skiff for $9, and it's like 80 up here. Wait a second. Or figures for like I saw a video last night. The guy was going through the clearance aisle and they had figures that had just hit the shelves that they were selling for $2 a pop at Wally down in the States. Like, come on, why can't they be that stupid up here? But I digress. I mean, at least up here, there's not even any product on the shelf, so I don't know what I'm complaining about. It is the world of the collector, especially when you live in the middle of the boonies in the middle of nowhere in Ontario. But anyways, what else in regards to that? HasLab, Hasbro's secret laboratory. You remember last time, a couple of years ago, they did a big-ass, huge fucking coffee table of a Java sail barge that they shelled out for like $500, and they had like 8,000 orders or something ridiculous. And now you look on eBay, and these things are selling for like $8,000 each. But yeah, they're planning a new venture into the Star Wars Vintage Collection line. It's a lot of speculation. I watched one video. I think it was Bosk's Bounty. I don't really. Well, I'll name drop. I don't care. I'm not making any money off this channel, anyways. Pretty good channel though. Him and Usual Mike. Anyway. Back to off topic. They were talking about what could possibly be the new HasLab project. One option was a full-sized cantina sort of playset diorama sort of thing. I'd be down with that, depending on the price, obviously. Another option was the Rebel cruiser from the start of Episode 4, end of Rogue One, Leia's ship where Vader first attacks, and whole beginning of Episode 4. Problem with that, as they were pointing out, is how do you do it in a scale that's going to work, where you can actually have like the corridors and then the command centers and then the escape pods and everything else without making it like fucking gigantic. I mean, yeah, let me show you this. Over yonder, there's the Millennium Falcon they just released, and there's the Death Star from '78. Oh, it's kind of blocked. And then in the back there is the Walker. That was bigger than Chewbacca. That's a beast of a fucking toy. Cost me an arm and leg. Well, it did cost $120 back in, was it 2011 I got that thing? Falcon was $250 and I bought that in 2008. And if you try to buy one now, they're like $700, $800, $900. Death Star playset, can't replace that. That was not the same one I had as a kid, but same thing. Got it on eBay for 100 and change or something a bunch of years back. Anyway, so HasLab, yeah, back to that. Got off topic there. Another option would be a sandcrawler, like a full-size, like 2.5 foot tall sandcrawler, which sounds cool, but again, sail barge. What are you going to do with it? It just kind of sits there. The Mandalorian's ship from Mandalorian, obviously, is one ship they were throwing around as a possibility, which I hate the idea of, because that kind of a thing needs to go mainstream, because the Mandalorian's being watched by way more people than would usually watch Star Wars. So to make that only available in a niche market, that's not going to work. And I think the other option they had was one of the ships from Rebels, but then they're like, do we really want to delve into the animated line and all that sort of stuff? Again, scale, how big is it going to be to make it look good, but with a reasonable price point? So who knows? I'm not sure when they're supposed to be announcing it. Probably sometime soon, because they usually do like, we need to hit this many orders before we start making it. So it'll probably be in the upcoming few months, with probably a release date of next year, I'm guessing. I mean, everything's been bumped back for release dates right now, not only movies. Any of the Hot Toys figures, I looked into the Spider-Man with the upgraded suit, black and red suit he has in the end of Far From Home. That was supposed to be coming out this month. Should have been out by now. And I'm hearing November, December, earliest for it now. The other thing is, too, the child Mandalorian life-size thing. Like, there's high demand for that. And that's supposed to be coming out, like, in the next few months. So if they can't fill order for that, there's going to be a lot of pissed off people, because Mando Season 2 is supposed to be starting in October on Disney. That's going to be a hell of a Season 2. Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka Tano. Temuera Morrison coming back as Captain Rex and Boba Fett. Come on. Can't wait. Season 1, if you haven't watched it, get Disney Plus, watch it. It's fucking amazing. Anyhow, when it comes to everything getting released, not only is the movie stuff been pushed back now, but the streaming stuff, because of all the delays from them being able to shoot the thing, are being pushed back. Like, WandaVision's supposed to be like early 2021 now, and that was supposed to be coming out like around Halloween. Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well was supposed to be coming out in August, and they're saying maybe sometime soon, but no promises. The Hawkeye show finally got some directors signed to start doing that, but still no word on who's going to play Kate Bishop, whether it's Haley Steinfeld or what's going on with that, because there was, for a hot minute, there was a lot of talk of her being in that show, and then she started doing, like, I think it was an Amazon or an Apple TV streaming show, and then we're like, I don't know if she can do both, there's legal ways and everything else. So that's still way up in the air. Movies getting bumped back. The last I heard, they were tentatively shooting for late 2020. This is the theater distributors organization guys. We're shooting for like a late 2020 kind of time frame to get people back into theaters and start showing some movies again. Obviously, with the way it's going down in the States right now, Gong Show, Gong Show, Gong Show. You've seen it in the news. I'm not CNN, but it's a shit show. They're now saying there's a good chance they can't open theaters until the middle of next year, because it's like, would you go to a theater right now with the way things are, even with a mask on and the whole 9 yards, and sit in a theater with even half capacity? We're talking 100 people max, depending on the movie. But big name movies, obviously, you'd figure they'd sell out with the 100 max, with the social distancing and everything else. Fuck no. I am not going anywhere near a movie theater until there's a vaccine. Same with Disney World. I've watched like live streams of people down at Disney. They're like, this is amazing. Look, there's no lineups. I'm like, are you out of your fucking minds? That fucking state is averaging over 10,000 cases of COVID a day. I'm sorry. I don't care about whatever. No thanks. Plus the fact of having to like fly to Florida. I'm not getting on a plane. You kidding? It's a shit show. And who was it? Campia was saying if AMC Theaters in the States has to push back their plans now till mid-2021, then they're not going to last. They're barely hanging on as it is, and theaters have only been closed March. April, May, June. 4.5 months, maybe almost 5 months. Theaters have been closed in the States, and it's like these theaters are like bleeding dry. There's nothing. They've got nothing. They got no revenue. They can't even pay their rents. There was a friggin' mall, I forget where, somewhere in the States, Florida probably, or Texas, sued AMC Theaters for not paying their rent, even though when this whole thing started, they sent out a memo to all of their like landlords, I guess you could call it, saying, hey, this is what's going on. Shit's gone fucking south. We're not going to be able to pay any rent because everything's closed. Like, sorry, get back to you. And then they fucking turned around and sued AMC for missing their rent payments and wanted like $7 million in damages. It's like, talk about getting blood from a fucking stone. Are you kidding me right now with everything else that's going on, and you're going to start doing this kind of shit? Please. World's gone to hell in a handbasket, I tell you. It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, mid-2021, they're already saying, because the first movie that actually got bumped with all of this was the Bond movie, No Time to Die, which is fucking kind of an ironic name now. But anyway, that is now slated for November in theaters, and they're already talking about pushing it to next summer. Reason being is the Jurassic Park flick shooting got delayed. They were 4 weeks into shooting on a 20-week schedule. They got delayed because of COVID. They're just going back to start shooting in September. And that means, they're not going to be ready for it. That's supposed to be coming out June 2021. I bet you that gets bumped to Christmas 2021. Bond takes the June slot. And then who knows what's going to happen with like Tenet, Wonder Woman, Black Widow. They're all supposed to still be coming out. Bill and Ted's as well, as I said. It still has a tentative theatrical date. If everything gets bumped, holy shit. Because a lot of these studios are saying there's no way. If we get bumped, we're getting bumped. We're not going video on demand or any of that kind of shit. Tenet, apparently to break even, needs to make $800 million box office. How the fuck are they going to do that in this day and age? Fucking pop up I know iTunes is out of date. Like, who's going to be streaming to the... don't get me wrong, it looks like a fucking cool movie. But, like I said, I ain't going to a fucking movie theater. Video on demand, I mean... Trolls World Tour made $100,000 in its first week, and you'd only have to do that 8 weeks over to not even. Fuck. Never mind. My math's way off. what it boils down to is some of these movies are not going video on demand. Wonder Woman, Tenet especially, Bond, like all three of those, there's no way those three are going on to like on demand, because then torrents, piracy, everyone in the world, there goes your box office down the drain. But yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this all plays out. They're also saying the theme parks are going to stay at like minimum capacity until at least next year too. I like fucking U.S. is on the verge of having to shut shit down again. Like they are just, and the thing is now, all the cases they're getting are people in their like 41 and under. I'm like 41 and under. Shit. I mean, like boy in the bubble time here. I've already ordered some masks. Fuck this. Like I'm not going out as a statistic like my mom did. There's no way. If I got to bunker down in this cave with some cold beers and stack load of video games, so be it. But shit, like luckily I'm in Canada, and knock on wood, it's not. It's not, well, I'm not going to say it's not that bad. It's not bad. As bad up here, obviously. But, it's still these, like, we're talking, like, the U.S. is a fucking stone skip and a throw away from us. Like, keep that border shut. Y'all ain't coming up here. Until you guys learn how to play nicely and follow some rules, like, no thanks. And I ain't going down there. Because hell's no. But anyway, like I said, I'm not going to start doing the friggin' Sanjay Gupta CNN bullshit here about coronavirus. Like I said before, my last episode, already been through the ringer with it. It's just, it baffles the mind. That's all I can say about it. What else? Kind of running out of shit. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Marvel, there's a new book series called Empire, spelled with a Y, so as not to confuse with the show. Apparently, been reading online that it's a really good series. Basically, like the new, Infinity Gauntlet run, Secret Wars kind of run. The backstory, I believe, is the Skrull Empire and the Kree team up for the first time ever and go after Earth. And obviously all the heroes have to get together and fight them. So, sounds cool. I called the local comic book store. There actually is one. Very small. But sold out. Maybe in a couple weeks. There's probably a graphic novel coming sometime down the pipeline. Probably early fall. I think I already saw a listing for one on Chapters, like omnibus edition of all of them, which is cool, but sometimes it's fun to get the individual issues. I remember buying the Secret Wars run back when I was Christ, how old? I must have been about 10. And, hunting every rack, spinning it, looking for that fucking one cover. Like 1 in 10, 2 in 10, 3 in 10. And you'd be like, I'm missing number 7. And then you're spinning and spinning and spinning. It's like, there it is! Great days. I still have an original Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man number 1 that I remember, not the same copy I bought back in the day, but I remember going to the comic book store / video store in Lennoxville when I was at BCS with JF and Louie, and I think Pete All might have been there too. But anyway, a bunch of us used to go into town on Wednesdays on our half days, and we'd go to the comic book store. And I remember buying that comic when it first came out back in '84, and then fucking it got lost somewhere in a friggin' moves in between who knows where and who knows where. And then I found another copy of it back when I was living in Whitby for like, the guy wanted $10 for it. I'm like, sold, done. So still have it in its wrap. I don't think I've even opened it since I've bought it. I mean, it's not a hugely valuable comic, but sentimental values. That's why you collect. Don't collect because something's going to be worth, this is going to be worth fucking millions. Like when the fucking Phantom Menace figures came out for Star Wars Episode 1 and people were like stockpiling them, going, my god, it's going to be like the old days with the Kenner ones when they fucking Darth Vader mint on card is worth like $5,000. And the fucking, you thinking of the Simpsons episode with Ralph going, I bet my Wookiee. Like, And then like 2 months after the friggin' movie's been in theaters, these fucking figures are in like bins in Walmart with like $1 marked above them, like clearance all to hell. So, you know, I don't buy shit that I think is going to be valuable. I buy it because I love it. Like my movie collection. Some people are like, you're fucking insane, man. You got 1,300, you got 1,200 DVDs or Blu-rays, like physical media. I was like, yeah. I, I collect them like baseball cards. You know, I've got my Best Pictures shelf with virtually every single movie that won the Best Picture since the beginning of time. I got my Marvel shelf over yonder by the TV. Got my Star Wars section. You know, all the greats. And you know, I dig it. It's fun. You find a cheap movie, it's like, oh yeah, like when you're collecting baseball or hockey cards. You're like, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it, need it, got it, got it. Same thing. As long as it doesn't break the bank, you know. I wouldn't go like I said, I'm not the one who's going to be going out and buying like, you know, 5 Hot Toys a week. That's just A, where's the space? B, where's the space? Like, I just can't justify it. But, you know, a figure here, a figure there, a cheap comic book, you know, a couple of movies here and there. But, you know, like I said, don't start like people stockpiling comic books. Like, I remember a story, I was watching some video of this guy who grades comics for a living. And he was like, you know, the majority of people don't realize how little the shit they've got is worth. And they're thinking they're sitting on like, you know, an Action Comics #1 Superman going, oh my god, like that came out in 1938. There's a reason that's a very, very, very valuable comic is because there's only like, I think my buddy Jeff said there's like less than 60 unrestored or untampered or like legit copies left in the world. So, you know, that's a rarity. The fact that in 1977, Lucas cut a deal with Fox for the merchandising rights to his movie Star Wars, and they were like, you can fucking have them. Like, who the fuck wants to buy a lunchbox with a Wookiee on it? $6 billion and 40 years later, he who gets the last laugh. But, you know, back to the comic story. This guy came into a comic book store to get a box appraised. He figured it was worth thousands of dollars. He lumps it down on the table. The guy pulls the cover off. It's 200 copies of The Death of Superman, which had, I think, 1 million print run plus. And this guy thought he was sitting on a fucking gold mine. Dude was like, I'll give you like, you know, $40 for it, because these comics are gonna sell like for fucking nothing. So, yeah, I mean, if there was ever advice I could give, that would be it. Collect what you love, not what you think is going to make you a buck, because then you wind up buried in boxes of shit that are worthless, that are just taking up fucking clutter everywhere. And, you know, I've seen people with walls of Funko Pops unopened, like multiple variations of one specific one. I'm like, okay, if you think it's going to be worth it. Or like, you know, you open a fucking cupboard door and there's an avalanche of Beanie Babies, like the Tribbles episode in Star Trek, when Kirk opens that one hatch and they just come pouring out like fucking November rain. So, yeah, anyway, 20-something minutes. I guess I might post another video. I'm on vacation end of this week coming up. Wow. So I'll probably post something. I mean, Comic-Con's coming up too, so, you know, I'll check out some of that stuff, see what there is worth, you know, shooting the shit about, and maybe something to laugh at, you know, some ridiculous thing they come out with, or they drop the price point on one of their new figurines, and it's going to be like, you know, we need 1 lung, a kidney, and half your liver, please. So, anyway, yeah, let me get this one processed, uploaded, and all that kind of good stuff, and then probably look for another video this week later on when the con's been going on. Till then, ciao for now.